the tech world was rocked very recently as Nvidia lost about US $593 billion in market value because of the new Chinese AI called DeepSeek. This low-cost AI is shaking up the entire industry. It's a direct competitor to ChatGPT, and this has created big opportunities for investors. In this video, I'm going to share with you guys what all these news mean. Okay, dive into some of the news as well, why it's causing such a stir, and most importantly, how you can position yourself to profit from this massive shift in the markets. And first, I'm going to share with you guys some of the stocks as well, like Nvidia and another stock, and see if this actually could be an opportunity, right, to get in on the cheap and an attractive opportunity. Let's dive into some of the news that is affecting this tech sector right now. So in this news right over, you can see, right, Nvidia drops nearly 17% as China cheapo AI model called DeepSeek sparks global tech sell-off. So just a few days back, Nvidia sold by more than 70%. I would say many of the technology companies like Broadcom as well has sold off. AMD, Micron, all of them have sold off. What is the reason? Well, you can see that, for this Chinese startup DeepSeek has sparked concerns over the competitiveness in AI and America's lead in this sector. So all this while, with the launch of ChatGPT in 2022, the US are pretty much leading with OpenAI coming out with ChatGPT, right? And many of the companies that spend billions of dollars in AI like Microsoft, Meta, Amazon, right? But this company called DeepSeek just launched, right? DeepSeek launched a free open source large language model, something like a ChatGPT, right? In late December, and it was just developed in under 2 months, right? About 2 months like that, right? And it costs, the main thing's the cost, right? It costs less than $6 million. In fact, like about $5.6 million in cost, right, to develop this DeepSeek model. So these developments have bolstered questions about the large amount of money, right, that are spent in these big technology companies that have been invested in all the AI, in the AI space over the past few years. So Nvidia, right, being the leader in the AI space, right, kind of like supplying many of the AI companies its GPU chip, right, is huge in demand, right? Is seeing a huge sell down because that's where, there might be some competitiveness coming in as well from AI, and companies like Meta, Amazon, they might not need so much of Nvidia's chip because, an AI company in China can produce the same quality of a model with lesser chips, much lesser cost. So with many of the companies selling down, like Micron, Broadcom, AMD, Constellation Energy, Vistra, and many of those semiconductors that are linked to the AI space. So this development in this software called DeepSeek, right, has stoked concerns about the amount of money big technology companies, all right, have been investing in AI models and the data centers as well, and raised alarm that US is not really leading the sector, right, as much as what people have believed previously. So DeepSeek clearly doesn't have access to as much compute as US hyperscalers. So for Nvidia, right, there's kind of like an export ban on its chips to China, all right, and of course to DeepSeek as well, whereby it don't have the best chips that Nvidia supplies to many of its clients, right? But DeepSeek is still able to come up with a software or a platform that is comparable to ChatGPT at a much lower cost. So DeepSeek somehow managed to develop a model that appears highly competitive. So let's take a look at another news, right? A shocking Chinese AI advancement called DeepSeek is sending US stocks plunging. So same thing, the company said they have spent about US $5.6 million on computing power for its base model compared with the hundreds of millions, right, or billions of dollars that many of these US companies are spending on their AI technology. Even Meta last week said it will spend upwards of $65 billion this year on AI development, right? So think about the amount, guys. I mean, less than US $6 million. And here are companies like Amazon, Meta spending billions of dollars to develop their AI technology. Even Sam Altman, right, CEO of OpenAI, last year said that the AI industry will need trillions of dollars in investment to support the development of these chips, right, needed to power the electricity-hungry data centers that run these complex models, right? So we are talking about billions and trillions of dollars, but right now, DeepSeek is only, spending less than US $6 million. So that's why we're seeing a huge sell because, in terms of cost concerns, people are wondering, is it really needed to spend billions or millions of dollars, right? When a China startup, less than a year old, just need to spend less than US $6 million, right? And that's where we are seeing kind of like a knee-jerk reaction in the market whereby it's affected many of the technology companies, because Nvidia, right, being the leader in the field, the AI field, has suffered some pretty strong losses. Alright, so that has been pretty much the news that we've seen in the technology sector, alright, that is affecting the tech stock, the semiconductor stock. So let's just dive right into the charts to see, where are we right now for Nvidia, alright, and maybe another technology company as well, the semiconductor stock called AVGO, Broadcom, they have sold off as well. Let's see if there actually could be an opportunity, right, to get in on Nvidia, alright, and what are some of the new support levels that have came out whereby you could actually think about positioning yourselves if you do see some bullish reversal signals. So let's dive into Nvidia, NVDA right now, pretty much the leader in the entire AI space. So this is Nvidia, right? About $123. So before this news came out, right, you see that we were actually trading above these very key support levels. So I mentioned about this level before, and that would be the $130 US, right? So the range was about $130 to the very key 150. So that's been the range from October, November, December up to January, right? We were just moving up and down, up and down, right? From these three, in fact, we touched like near 150 again. We saw some selling pressure coming back. So 130 to 150, that was pretty much the range over the past 3 to 4 months. So there's a bit of a sideways move, right? So for Nvidia, first thing we're going to get is that, what is the longer term trend for Nvidia? So you can see that for Nvidia, right, we actually have been in a longer term uptrend since like 2022 or even 2023, just by looking at what we call the 100 days moving average, the red line and the blue line. You can see both the red and blue line, they're both pointing up. So we are in a pretty good uptrend, I would say, right? Not just last month, but since last year. So being in a longer term uptrend does not mean that we are just going up every single day and we can't see short-term weakness, because that's not the case, right? For Nvidia, we actually saw selling as well just last year. You can see we saw selling as it sold off by more than 5 to 10% right over here. Down, look at this, right? We saw selling in June last year as well, from 140 all the way to $100, more than 30%. All right, couple of sell down as well. So in the short term, we can actually see selling coming back, which is exactly what is happening right now. And each time we see selling in the short term, the key here is that, are we seeing buyers coming back to bargain hard? Are we pushing even higher? Is the long-term trend still intact? And let's find out. So you can see, right, as I mentioned, the long-term trend has been intact, has been moving up since 1-2 years back, since like 2023, right? About 2 years back since 2023. You can see longer term trend is up. Right now, I would say the longer term trend is still up as well, because the red and the blue line are 100 days moving average, and the 200 days moving average, they are kind of like still pointing up with the red above the blue, right? Of course, in the short term, we are indeed seeing selling like what we see over here, right? Over the past 1 week, right, we have seen a breakdown. We've seen a breakdown of the 130. So this 130, as I mentioned, is a very key support level. It was originally the resistance level in August. You can see we tested it, came down, respected it, and then finally we broke above the 130, right? So this 130 has turned into a support level. We went to 150, came back down, retested, and we couldn't, right, break above the 150, but 130 was still a pretty good support. But over the past 2 days with this news, you can see, we have come like broke below the $130. Now it's like 123, right? So it's not a good thing. I mean, with it breaking a support that we've been holding for the past 4 months, this shows a little bit of weakness, right? But having said that, you can see that we are seeing some support coming back over the past like 3 to 4 days. In fact, the market is just open, right? We're seeing some support coming back, maybe just around the 115. If we can draw another support level, maybe right over here, you can see, right, that's where we started to see some bargain hunting coming back. Right over here is September. Right over here is September. You see a couple of rebound. In fact, over the past 3-4 days, that is where we spotted some bullish candles coming back as well. Look at this, right? Long lower shadow, rebounded. Of course, we are still below the 130. So I think the range, I mean, it's only like a few days, but I would say that the range right now would be maybe about 115 to that 130. So 130, if I can just change this line, right, 130 to a red line, because this is originally a support we've held above for 4 months, but now that we've broke above it, right? Sorry, now that we've broke down below it, that would be like a new resistance. So the range would be like, $15 from 115 to 130. So I think right now, a little bit of short-term weakness, I think that could be a good opportunity as well. We want to let it stabilize, right? But, we have seen, as I mentioned, we have seen weakness over the past like 1 over year. Look at this, right? It sold off. How much was it? Did it sell off, right? Look at this right over here. It sold off by about 30% right here from June to August last year, right? Same thing, it sold off by about another 21%, right, in March to May last year. So it did sell off. But the key is that each time you sell off, we near the longer term moving averages and it starts pushing even higher. So this could actually be a good opportunity. So the key here is that, what do we want to look out for to perhaps think about getting in again to ride the reversal? So there are a few things we can look out for. The first thing is that, has it found a support level? Have we tested this support level a couple of times? And at this support level, we saw a couple of bullish candlesticks coming out that can show that this support is indeed strong, right? So you can see over the past 3-4 days, we are seeing some sort of bullish candles coming out. So yeah, I think that could point to some bullish, some bargain hunting happening near the 115 level, but we need a bit more confirmation. What could be the next confirmation? Well, so right over here, you could see that the 20 days moving average that represents the short-term trend, right? So this green line is the 20 days moving average. So it was like sloping up, right? So very strong move up from like 115 to 150. And this green line started to like flatten out, maybe point now a little bit. And right now you can see that this green line, all right, this green 20 days moving average line has started to slope down, right? So that's the reason why we are seeing weakness as well. So, one of the other confirmations that you could get to any reversal would be to see whether this green line, all right, so what could happen is that, this green 20 days moving average now is sloping down. So, if we continue to stay below the $130 new resistance level, I would say that this green line will still continue to slope down. But eventually, right, if this 115 to hold as a new support level, it continues to hold, we continue to consolidate from 115 to 130, well, then this green line may start to flatten out, right? So what we could look out for would be, can we see this 20 days moving average, the green line, start to reverse back up? If that happens, right, I'm not sure where exactly it will happen, but if that happens, something like over here, you can see, right, it went down, it flattened out, boom, right? We started to see that reversal move with prices crossing back above the green line points up, off we go. Something like this as well. Look at this, right? The green 20 days moving average line. All right, we saw weakness, right? So the green 20 days moving average line was going down, down, down. Prices went above it, it starts to flatten out, pump, it starts to turn up, and there we go. So that could be another confirmation to get, right, in terms of the 20 days moving average line starting to point up, and that's where we will see some short-term trend reversal, all right, all the way maybe back up above the 130 resistance. After 130, maybe back to the 150 resistance level. All right, so that's what you look out for, right? When that happens, not just the longer term trend is up, but the short term trend has also turned up. And the key is that if we spot these bullish candles continue to come out near the $115, that could lend another confirmation that buyers are trying to support this 115 to maybe 120 level. So let's take a look at what it says on my 1GT, the One Good Trend Pro indicator, to see if there are any signals that have came out to give us another indication as well on what to do. So let me go ahead to just close off everything. Let me just remove all the drawings. So you can see, right? So this is Nvidia, and I can just quickly turn on what it says, right? So when I click on the button, you can see show buy and sell signals. Pump. There we go. Let's turn it on. And we have signals coming up on Nvidia, on any asset classes. Of course, this is Nvidia, but with click of the button, you see some bullish and bearish signals. So you can see, right, very good move here for Nvidia. January 2024, last year, look at this, right, pump, all the way up, got bearish signals, you can see came down, 2 new bullish signals, off we went, another bearish signal, it came back down. So whenever you see a bearish signal, just want to be careful, all right? It means we have broken some support level. We could see some weakness, especially if the 20 days moving average, like for example, right over here, right, we've got a bearish signal, and this 20 days moving average line was up, a little bit, but it starts to point down, and that's where we saw weakness. That's where we get another confirmation of the short-term trend turning down. So let's take a look at what happens, right? Over the past, few days, right, you can see that we had 2, not 1, but 2 bearish signals coming out. So you can see right here, we got 2 bearish signals coming out. Let me just circle it for you right over here. So 2 bearish signals coming out as we broke below the 130 support level. I mentioned, right, just now I've drawn this line right over here, right? So that would be the 130 support level that we've been holding above for more than 4 months. We broke below it, and that's where we have 2 bearish signals coming out. So if you ask me, right, are we seeing a bit of weakness right now for Nvidia? I would say yes. The answer is yes. We're still not entirely out of the woods yet. All right, we could still see a bit of weakness. 115, 120 could be a bit of support, could be some bargain hunting coming back. But if we go below like 115 or maybe 110, well, we might move on to the next support level. And what could that be? Well, that could even be near the 100 psychological level, somewhere over here. That was where we have rebounded. You can see rebounded in September. Same thing right over here in July, rebounded. So if you go below that 115, to 110. Well, 100 could be the next stronger psychological support level. So I'm not saying that you will definitely go there, but we are not entirely out of the woods yet because, as I mentioned, right, we have broken this 130 support level. We got 2 bearish signals coming out because this support level has been broken. All right, and if you take a look at the green line, as I mentioned as well, this green line has also started to slope down. So all these signals, all these confirmations are all pointing to a little bit more downside in the short term. So I mentioned, what are the things we can look out for to maybe get in again? Well, we want to see if there's a new bullish signal coming out. We do have a bullish signal coming out like we saw over here in October. Look, it's like 2 bullish signals coming out, and there we go all the way up. Same thing right over here, right? We got 2 new bullish signals coming out, number 1, number 2, and off we go. So we want to wait for some bullish signals coming out. All right, wait for the short-term trend to turn up, wait for maybe some bullish candlestick coming out as well near the support levels. All that could point to a good strong reversal. But right now, to be honest, I'm not seeing any of that yet because we have broken the key support level. We still look a little bit weak. Let's go to monitor it to see if these bullish signals can come out in the next 1-2 weeks, maybe up to next 1 or 2 months. Hopefully some stability comes back for Nvidia. All right, let's take a look at another stock that got affected as well due to this DeepSeek AI news that came out, and that would be one very popular semiconductor stock called Broadcom. The code is AVGO. So you can see, right, very quickly for Broadcom, I've turned on the signals, right, the one good trend, the 1 GT signals right over here, pump off it, pump, turn it on, and there we go. So let's take a look at it from the 1 GT Pro indicator that I have, right? So you can see right over here, right? We have 2 bullish signals in December. Look at this right over here, pump, we started to gap out, consolidated, and look at this, right, with the news coming out as well for Broadcom, unfortunately, we have broken this 220. So I would say that, 220 was actually a pretty good support level that we're holding since like December, right? 220 all the way to maybe like $250. Look at this, right? So up, down, right? So it was pretty okay, but we broke down, of course, due to this DeepSeek news coming out, we broke down the 220 support level, and that's where we have a bearish signal. So if I can just go to turn off these drawings right over here, I can just turn on what we call the trailing support line. So right over here, you can see I just turn it on. This is a trailing support level. Just to give you an idea of what is a trailing support. You can see, right, when we had these bullish signals coming out, right over here in December, right, you can see we've got a bullish signal, consolidated, pump off, we went even higher, right, and that would be like about 43% in just about 2 weeks, right? And then we started to consolidate sideways. So you see this trailing support level have popped out. The green 20 days moving average, let me just turn it off a little bit, you can see, right? So this green 20 days moving average line, which was like flat, started to turn up as well as we got these 2 new bullish signals. So that would be like another confirmation, right? With the short-term trend turning out, and then you got bullish signals. So that's where you started to push up. But I want to turn on again, right, the trailing support level to show you why we actually have a bearish signal. So this is a trailing support. That means, it trails prices as it moves up. We give it allowance for it to move up even higher, and it gives it what we call breathing space, right? Breathing space whereby if you were to stay above this trailing support, it looks pretty good, right? That's where the uptrend is intact. We could perhaps even move even higher, right? But over the past few days, right, with this DeepSeek AI news coming out, right, same thing like Nvidia, yes, sold off, not just sold off, but you can see that when we sold off, right, we also broke down below this green trailing support. Now look at it, right? So the green trailing support line is right over here. We went below it, right? So it's not so good, right? Because we have given it allowance. If by right, it should stay above it. Now that's the space needed for it to stay above it, but it went below it. So that's the reason why we got a bearish signal. And when that happens, you see now we have a resistance, the trailing resistance right above it. So that's why you are seeing weakness. And if we look at another thing, right, we look at the 20 days moving average, you can see this green line has also started to turn down. So there are kind of like 2 confirmations whereby we are seeing weakness right now from a bearish signal because we broke the trailing support, and also from the 20 days moving average line that is pointing down. So let me go to just turn it off and let's see where we could potentially hit to before maybe some buying pressure coming back. So I think right now you want to take note of this very key level. I think that would be the $200. I think 200, you can see over the past few days, it seems like some support is coming out near the $200. Now we have rebounded slightly to near 218, 220, all right? And $200 seems like, some bargain hunting is coming back. So if we can hold above the $200, right, over the next few days, I think that would be great. Maybe over the next 1, 2, 3 weeks, I think that would be great. There will be some stability, all right? What we can look out for would be for the 20 days moving average line to reverse back up, maybe even a new bullish signal coming back. I think that would be more confirmation whereby we are starting to see that reverse. So something like what we have seen, right, over the past 2 months like this, right over here, we got a bullish signal, we got another bullish signal. So if we do like, bullish signals, bullish signal coming out, I think that would be another confirmation of that reversal move. That's where we could start to see more strength, all right, for Broadcom, AVGO. All right, guys, so there we have it. If you want to find out a little bit more as to how to spot winning trades, when to get in and when to get out, how do you be guided by bullish and bearish signals in seconds, or not just stocks, but any asset classes, what you want to do is to attend one of those free webinars. The link's right below the video. Click on it, attend this webinar called the One Good Trend Workshop, where I share with you guys the entire framework behind the indicator. All right, how do we know when to get in? How do we actually filter out and sift out the top 1% of stocks in seconds and then know what to do with them, whether to get in, or maybe if you see like a news like this where there's some bearish signals coming out, it could guide you to also get out, right? And not like hold it all the way back down. Does it make sense, right? So you want to find out more, attend one of those free webinars. The link is right below, and that's where I'll share with you guys a bit more of the One Good Trend strategy and the One GT Pro indicator as well. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a better idea of why are we seeing a sell down in many of those technology and the semiconductor stocks, right, over the past week. What are some of the key levels, or certain key stocks like Nvidia, Nvidia, and even Broadcom, AVGO. All right, so let's see how it plays out. Let's see if those bullish signals that I talk about can come out in the next few weeks, and it might be a good opportunity to think about getting in again. Joby here. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. And of course, register for the free webinar, and I look forward to share more with you in this free web class. Bye for now.